Thank y'all. So again, I can say welcome. And we were just talking about Family Promise has a YouTube channel. Without the link, I'm sure you can search it, but I will send out the link in a future email, hopefully early next week, so that you can access it. We haven't shared the link before. We'll also put it in social media. I think when I uploaded Caroline Hawthorne's last night, none of our videos had been viewed, but we also hadn't put the link out there. Okay, so if we can start with our networking, and I can call on people as I see you on the screen. And besides whatever you have coming up or whatever you want to share with us, if you also could talk about successes, challenges, and add that to the conversation. So Renee, you are on my screen early and I get to see your face. So I'm going to call on you to share with us.
Thank you. And it was great meeting you in person finally. Yeah, so we have some actually really exciting new things that have come.
Identify who you're with. I know everybody's in the chat.
Sorry. Yeah, so my name is Renee Crick. I am the Children and Youth Service Coordinator at Bristol Regional Counseling Center, which is a division of Frontier Health here in Bristol, Tennessee. And we serve clients in Bristol, Tennessee and Bristol, Virginia. And so some new exciting things that we have coming. First of all, is we will have a new state-of-the-art building. It is under construction currently, and we will be moving into that building in mid-June. That building will house all of the Frontier Health Bristol programs in one place. So that is for adult and CNY, and it includes our Frontier Industries and all of our case management services. Yeah, so we're all going to be under one roof together.
I didn't realize that the industries would be there as well. That's great.
Yeah, it's all going to be in one place.
And it's on Volunteer Parkway.
Right? Correct. Yeah, it'll be at 1145 Volunteer Parkway. In addition to that exciting news, we have 2 of our CNY clinicians who have been approved to take their licensure exams. So once they have taken those exams and passed them and gotten credentialed, we will have 4 licensed providers that can take private insurance clients here on the CNY floor. And then we also have a new program called Healthy Transitions. And Healthy Transitions is a program that we have for individuals ages 16 to 25. It is a grant-funded program. And their primary goal within that program is to assist individuals ages 16 to 25 in job skills, educational skills, housing, transportation. Essentially, their goal is to help them create more independence in being able to transition from adolescence into adulthood or become independent within adulthood. So we're really excited to have them on board. They've just started with us in this month, and they're actually early because we weren't anticipating they would start till April. But they have got up and running, and they're currently taking referrals. So we're really excited to have them on board. They'll also be housed in the new office on the same floor as us. So that's all of our exciting news. And I feel like some of the barriers that we have run into are, and it's more on the Virginia side. Case management has been an issue because with our case management services, we can't really cross the state lines. They're not covered across state lines. And then where we have the ability to offer Zoom to our Tennessee clients in the event of inclement weather, for instance, we had all the ice and we worked from home and we offered Zoom appointments for clients so that they wouldn't have a disruption in care during that time. But we're not allowed to Zoom across the state lines either, because most of us are not credentialed in the state of Virginia, although we do accept Virginia Medicaid insurance. So that's been a barrier, and that's been a little bit sticky. We're looking for more resources on the Virginia side of the line, especially with regard to like case management support, transitional supports. So we definitely appreciate those of you doing that work on that side of the line, because we need you. We're very stuck on that point, but I would say that's probably been our main barrier.
Right. So, and with that, you coordinate or try to facilitate that to happen with other partners.
Yes, in CNY, we actually have a grant with the Highlands Juvenile Detention Center as well. And we have staff there doing mental health work there who have been going to like quarterly meetings in Virginia and have joined some of the boards that are in Virginia to try and help also, get some connections and resources on that side. So we're really networking hard right now with resources on the Virginia side.
Right. Great. Thank you very much. So, Christy Davenport, let's give you a turn.
Hi, good morning. My name is Christy Davenport, and I'm a new employee at the YWCA for the Family Network Program in Bristol. And I know that you guys are pretty familiar with the program already, but I just wanted to attend this meeting to introduce myself and to hopefully network with other agencies. We don't really have anything as far as like public events. We do have one upcoming event in April, and it's a substance abuse panel event. And so that we're in the stages of finalizing that, but that will be on April 23rd. And then our program is still seeking new referrals. As you all probably know, we work with families that have children under the age of 18 that live in Tennessee and that are either eligible or receiving some sort of government assistance. So I'm new in my position and I'm a family navigator. So I am hoping to build my caseload, and we provide case management services for families, and we work individually with them. We can help with moderate direct financial assistance on a case-by-case basis as needed. And we offer opportunities for families to come together to connect with each other every month. We have monthly health screenings. We have activities for families. So that's just kind of a brief overview. But if you all have anybody you think would be interested in the program, please send them our way. And if you all have any questions, please let me know.
So do you have a time on the 23rd for that panel?
I don't think so yet, but we can definitely let you all know.
Is it at daytime or evening, or
I'm sure it would be during the day, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, keep us in the loop so we can share that information if everybody can attend. Also, I have a digital copy of the report from that grant and from that organization that I will try to send out to everybody. This is part of the $25 million grant that our Tennessee region got to help lift people out of poverty. And it came from the legislature. It's being administered by the Department of Human Services, and it's a huge, huge challenge. And I am hoping that the challenges will be reported to help educate our legislators as much as the successes. So hoping that can be done. Does anybody have any questions for Chrissy? I didn't ask for Renee. Thumbs up, great. So, okay. John Knack, thank you, Christy. John Knack, would you like to go next?
Yeah, my job is to find out where all the meetings are so I can tell Tony so that he makes every single one of them. See, he's there eating. No, just kidding there, Tony. So Creekside recently expanded by 24 beds. We now are licensed to have 96 inpatient crisis beds. We're staffed for 80 right now. In a couple of weeks, we'll have some more people trained. We'll go to 88, and then by the end of March, we'll have 96. And that'll make us the biggest facility between Roanoke and Chattanooga. So we're pretty lucky in Tri-Cities to have a private facility that people can go and walk in. We have transportation now. So sometimes from Virginia, we can speak with law enforcement or families, whoever, and we can pick people up in Virginia, or we can meet law enforcement if it's a voluntary admission at the state line, and we can get the patient and drive them on to Creekside. So that's something new with our transportation. We go to Knoxville at least once a day.
Wow.
we take Medicare, and for some reason, a lot of facilities in Knoxville don't take Medicare or only take a limited number. So the Medicare folks from Knoxville, we get a bunch of them. We send our van down there and pick them up at least once a day. The challenges we have is just getting the word of mouth. We're trying to keep people out of emergency rooms that don't need to be medically cleared, because the emergency rooms, I hope that's what I said, they're jammed with all kinds of needs. And Creekside is a psych emergency hospital, so they can come in and be assessed for free. And if we have a bed, they'll get admitted. So the challenge is that Frontier Health Crisis does a wonderful job of assessing TennCare patients. They have the contract, but there's always a middleman, and sometimes they're waiting in the ER for 3 or 4 days, waiting for paperwork. And we're trying to streamline and get people thinking of Creekside earlier in the process, because the hospitals in the area are not part of the Creekside family. So just getting the word of mouth with people in the community that they don't have to go to their local emergency room if they're medically stable and with a loved one. Obviously, if they're threatening to hurt somebody or themselves, they need to go to the emergency room to make sure they're medically cleared and let law enforcement get involved. But we do have people who will wait in the local ERs for 3 or 4 days and get frustrated and go home, check out against medical advice. So I'm hoping with the extra beds, and we hired Sarah Lane, who was the ER director at Indian Path. She's now our admissions director at Creekside. So we're hoping that relationship between her and Ballard will translate into some smoother processes of getting people help when they need it. We also are expanding our outpatient. We've rented 6,000 square feet across the parking lot street at Creekside for our outpatients. So that will be now in the next month, hopefully be separated from inpatient. But that's about all I got that's new. We're having a 5K run, and the theme is Follow the Yellow Brick Road. It's going to start on the green belt behind our hospital in Kings Court, and the theme's going to be the Wizard of Oz. So if people want to dress up and run or walk or just have fun, it's April the 13th, and it should start at 9:00. And if anybody has any questions or needs to email me for an invitation or anything, I'll put my information. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Lots of good stuff. So Kay Ward, I see you on. So how about telling us about Bristol, Tennessee City Schools?
Okay, I am off mute. I'm doing lots of stuff right now. First of all, I want to start with the Virginia Deaf Fine Arts Festival coming up. That is Thursday, February 29th from 5:30 until 7:30 at the middle school, at Tennessee Middle School. We also have some great academic news to share. You may have heard that schools in our district were among the highest rated in the state, according to the new state school letter grade rating system. We had 6 BTCS schools that received an A, 2 that received a B. We were one of 11 districts statewide that received all A and B results. So we are extremely excited. We had 4 schools that were designated as reward schools by the Tennessee Department of Education. Those were Avoca, Haynesfield, Tennessee Middle School, and Tops for the 6th year in a row. We also know that reward status is of top distinction for a school, and it can be given for outstanding growth and also achievement. We have reported earlier that the district also received a level 5 composite score on the Tennessee Value Added Assessment System data. As educators, we know that is TVAS data, and that is the highest distinction as well from the Tennessee Department of Education, with evidence that the district students have made more growth than expected. All of this is due to hardworking teachers, hardworking students, and I also have to say a very supportive community. So my real message today is a big thanks to our community for all your support of Bristol, Tennessee City Schools, and we are certainly making a difference. Lots of accolades coming to our part of the state right now, and we're really excited.
So, Kay, that is fabulous. And besides the successes, we're also adding challenges or barriers. Are there things that school system is continuing to see that are, and I know some of it's still left from COVID, et cetera, but are there any challenges or barriers or anything that you're seeing, experiencing overall?
Well, you know, we had lots of funding that came to us during that time. We are reassessing as to what our successes can be attributed to. So some of those barriers are being recognized right now. We're looking at what worked and how we can continue that work. What we're going to need to keep this alive. From my perspective with family engagement, we certainly are looking to our families, not only absolutely we need them to be involved, but we also want them to go that step further in being engaged in their students' education and knowing what's going on in the classroom and how they can support that instruction at home. We, again, know that reading on grade level by third grade is that first benchmark. It's that first hurdle that we have to cross for high school graduation, and we have programs and tutoring opportunities, lots of interventions in place to make sure that first hurdle is successfully jumped. So as far as barriers, we're reassessing what has been successful and what is still there and what our barriers are going to be. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And certainly the funding during COVID that many of us received is critical and really helped us get through and really helped things from being as bad, as well as perhaps really let some of us shine with some of our programs, et cetera. And it is very challenging to see some of that funding come to an end and knowing what we can do, but we don't have the funding to do it. So trying also to communicate that as policy, et cetera, to our legislators and people to understand what it takes to help our children and to help people to move out of poverty and change their lives. So thank you. At some point, well, just say real quickly, what's TOPS in case people don't know what TOPS is.
Tennessee Online Public School.
So, and how long ago did it begin?
Well, Margaret, if you hadn't asked me, I could have told you. It has been a reward school for 6 years. So
It's more than that.
it's more
probably
than
10
that.
or
I'm
12
afraid to
years
say
old.
exactly.
Yeah.
We're very
So-
proud of TOPS.
Yeah, online school, and anybody across the state
Yes.
students can join, and it has gotten lots of accolades.
Absolutely.
So, and lots of recognition, and it is a great way for students who are not able to do well in a regular classroom to,
Exactly. We
be
do
able to
have students from
participate.
all over the state
yeah.
participating in TOPS.
Yep, so it's recognized statewide as being really good. And that started before we had, before COVID put everything
Yes.
online. So,
Yes.
thank you. So, okay, Chelsea Colley. And do I say that right? Chelsea, how do I say your name?
It is Chelsea Kalia.
Kalia,
That's
thank
okay.
you.
Everyone does it a little bit differently. I'm trying to get my camera to come on, but
If you
it's
can't,
not
we'll
working.
imagine. But there you go.
Oh,
Awesome.
there I am. So I work at the Mountain Home VA in Johnson City in the Homeless Veteran Program, and we cover Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. and I'm one of the outreach social workers on our team. So I get to go out into the community a lot, including in the Bristol area. So I guess as far as any announcements, I don't have any dates, but I can tell you that there's a team that is talking about possibly having a resource fair for veterans in maybe late spring, early summer, depending on coordination. We're looking at possibly doing it at UVA Wise.
Wow.
And we're wanting to make it a resource fair really for families. So we're hoping to be able to have spouses, children, grandparents, all of the above come out and just celebrate our veterans and be there for resources in Wise County and the surrounding areas. So there's going to be a lot more details to come when we kind of solidify. We got to get our dates from UVA Wise when we can do that, and then I can start to put out more information for anyone that may be interested in that resource. And I can see Tony like jumping at the bit already. He's excited. So, you all probably, hopefully, are aware that there is a resource fair coming up at the Bristol Motor Speedway, March 26th. That's an all-day affair. The VA is not sponsoring that, but will certainly be there and have a presence. And anyone who is interested at all in being there in the room to be able to network and as well as to be able to talk to veterans and get them hooked up with your services are definitely encouraged to participate in that. We were at the Millennium Center in Johnson City last year and we were busting at the seams. So we've moved it to the Bristol Speedway, and there's going to be more than enough room for anybody and everybody that wants to have a table set up. I know that the organizers of that are asking for a small fee of, I think, $20 per agency, but they're also saying that if your agency can't pay that, just let them know, no worries. It's just to try to cover any costs that they're able to cover. So don't let that stop you if you're interested in having a table set up, because we want everyone, you know, veterans, families of veterans, supporters of veterans to come out and get all the information that they can that date. If you are interested and don't have that information, I can put a link in the chat for you to access that. I'm trying to think here. So I guess some challenges that we're facing, of course, homelessness is always a challenge. The VA volunteered to cover Bristol, Tennessee, and Virginia during the point in time count in January. For those who are unfamiliar, we go out on a single night in January and literally count the number of individuals experiencing homelessness on that one night. And the preliminary data shows what we kind of all know anecdotally, which is that homelessness is a growing problem in the area. I know that our team submitted 85 surveys for Bristol City, Tennessee, and Virginia, 85 surveys, which is a huge increase from last year. Of course, they have to sort through that, and some of those surveys may not get counted for whatever reason. So I don't know what the hard data will end up being, but I know that that's a big jump from last year. And nationwide, homelessness has increased 12% over the last year, and veteran homelessness has also increased as well. On the flip side, like some other folks were just talking about, the VA had some COVID money that was coming in, and that's recently started to come to an end. And so we're really having to make some changes in the way that we do our programming, the way that we're able to hire and fill positions, and just kind of having to tighten up what our resources are. So we're working through that just like everyone else is, and obviously trying to find affordable housing is always an ongoing challenge. But I will say, as far as a success, Family Promise has been an incredible resource for me as an outreach worker here in Bristol. I regularly am in communication with the case managers that are there at the day center, and they've just been beyond helpful to help me try to coordinate with some of the veterans that are coming in the day center. When it's not always easy for me to just pick up and drive to Bristol, we're able to do a lot of coordination through email and over the phone. So praises to you, Margaret, and your agency, because it's really made it much more doable for me and our team to access and help serve those veterans in Bristol. And I guess that's it. If anybody has any questions, let me know.
So first, thank you very much for those thanks. And we think we have a great team, and we also appreciate you and your ability to be a great resource as well. Question, so I know the increase in homelessness that came out in the last few weeks, but I'm assuming it is based on January of 23 for the last
Yes.
PIT count that has actually, so it is a year behind where we're
Yes.
going to be. So we will see. So when I talk to people, I share that it's going to be even a larger number, because we've seen it more just in the past 6 months, seen changes in what's happening. So so that as y'all read those numbers, and it's not just that number, almost every health data, et cetera, it's already a year old by the time it's publicized and we get it. So I know, but most of y'all realize that. So if you have information on do put information in the chat about the resource fair on March 26th. If you have any flyers or anything that I can send out at some point to the whole group, be happy to do that.
Yes. I'll search for it in my email and put it in the chat and also send it to you.
That'd be great.
Anybody can go. It's hosted through Warriors Canvas, which
Okay.
is an agency that's located in Johnson City, but they serve all of the Tri-Cities. It's a nonprofit for veterans to come in and do art, painting, making any type of art as a therapeutic way for them to de-stress and just have a support. And so that's the sponsor of it. You can go through their website to sign up for it, and I'll put all that information in the chat. And that fair, I think it's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. that day, I believe, on March 26th.
Right. Thank you very much. And also thank you for coordinating the Bristol and the Southwest Virginia stuff with the PIT count, trying to help us all do what we need to do. Also, my understanding, so what was interesting, the PIT count happened on the night of the 23rd. And some folks in Tennessee, we were asking people where they were going to sleep that night, starting in the evening. And in Virginia, they did the next day asking, where did you sleep last night? So it still was the same night, but getting it from 2 different directions. My understanding is also it can be more than that one night, but it has to refer to that one night. So you could fill out a survey a few days later, but it had to be, where did you sleep on the night of the 23rd?
Correct. Yeah,
yeah.
you get like a 7-day window, but it has to be on that night. And
Right.
You're right that it was 2 different nights. So we went out on the 24th during the day, and depending on what side they were on, we had to ask, where did you sleep last night, or where are you planning to sleep tonight?
Exactly.
So
But it's still pretty cool that
but
it ended up with this. It wasn't a week apart or anything like that. So that was
right.
that was good. So anyway, okay. And if somebody has a question, I'm not monitoring the chat as well as I should. So do just speak up and interrupt if I'm not answering what you put in the chat or have another question. So, okay, thank you very much. Jesse Winship.
Hi, for those of you who don't know, I'm Jessie. I'm a community health worker with Aetna, which is one of the Virginia Medicaid MCOs. We don't really have much going on in Bristol in the next month or so. I mean, as usual, you hear me say it all the time. Make sure that anybody that you're acting or that you're interacting with in Virginia, They are renewing the Medicaid, I imagine, in Tennessee as well. So they're sending out those renewals that haven't been out there for a few years. So make sure that whomever you have on your case plan, or you're interacting with, that they're doing that renewal paperwork. In Virginia, in Southwest Virginia, they can switch Medicaid plans until the 28th as open enrollment. So if you have someone that isn't satisfied with their MCO, or if they want to switch because of different benefits, that is open until the 28th with, for just because they want to. Otherwise, it'll have to be a necessary reason, a life change or something like that. We will be having a mental health fair day, self-care day coming up soon. We're looking in May. Not much is nailed down with that. But once things do get a little bit better nailed down, I will let you guys know more info on that. It is going to be probably in the Bristol area, but we're just not sure of where yet. So that's all I've got.
Thank you very much. So now let's call on our cities. Ellen, Christina, which one of you wants to go first?
Oh, Ellen. Hey guys, I'm Christina Blevins. I'm the Community Development Specialist for the City of Bristol, Tennessee. Margaret's talking about opportunities and challenges. This is a really busy time for the cities because we are working on our budgets, our annual action plans, and completing the projects that we need to be completed by the end of our current fiscal year. So I'm going to start with successes. We have a new employee here in our community development department. His name is Ben Shea, and Ben is working in grants with me on several grants, but then also our MPO, which is the transportation and planning for our region. So we're really excited to have Ben. Once he kind of gets his feet under him, there may be opportunities for him to work for additional grants for the city, and or we can push some of our current workload onto Ben, and then Tyler Gillenwater, who is MPO, and myself could possibly look for some additional funding for the city. So I think that's a real big success. That's a new position to our crew. The partnerships that we have with all of you guys are just awesome. I mean, I couldn't work with a better group of folks. So I thank you for that. That is just huge for us. And I do think that is a success for the city because, maybe in the past, people haven't wanted to work with us as much as they do now. But so I think that's cool. Y'all hear me talk about our home ARP funding that is moving forward, and we are going to hopefully work with Bristol Redevelopment and Housing Authority on the Virginia side to build 12 new rental units for qualifying populations. That's really exciting. That should be up and rolling. We're working on environmental assessment right now, which is never fun, and that takes a couple of months. But hopefully in the next year to year and a half, we'll have those units done, moving, gone. And I do think my last success is that we do a huge amount with the little amount of funding that we have. So I'm proud of our team and you guys. Barriers, challenges for us is always funding capacity. It is teaching folks to have some empathy. I think that a lot Bristolians don't understand what it's like to be a low-income person, to be in poverty, to be homeless. And, they don't understand that sometimes it's just not that person's fault. So we're trying to work with that through our Community Development Advisory Committee. They work hard to reach out in the community for that. For me, everybody that works in federal grants has this problem, but HUD makes it extremely challenging for us to help folks who need our help. And it just, it seems to just be getting harder and harder, doesn't it, Ellen? To do the things that we need to do, because they just continue to push new rules and regs on us. And then last but not least is everybody's wait lists for assistance. The folks that we work with, everybody waits until things are falling in around them instead of trying to contact people, when a problem starts. They want us to come in immediately. And all of our wait lists are months to possibly years long at this point. Our home consortium for reconstructions in some communities is upwards of, years, like 5-6 years. So I think that is a real challenge, and we're working as a admin team to kind of figure out how we can maybe divert some resources to get some additional funding out in the communities. That's all I have, Margaret.
All right, well, toss it to Ellen. Where's Ellen?
First of all, I agree with everything Christina has said. I'm the community development specialist for Bristol, Virginia. I'm Christina's counterpart across the state line. That being said, I do agree with everything Christina said. Right now, I'm also working on my annual action plan. The Virginia side gets about $260,000 in entitlement HUD funds every year. These funds are primarily to benefit low to moderate income communities and families and individuals. Right now, we're getting ready to have 2 public hearings. We're going to have a 30-day comment period, all of which is to get feedback from citizens, stakeholders in the city of Bristol, Virginia. Let us know how you want these funds to be spent. We have many different programs that we could put these monies toward. It's not a whole lot, but we try to do the best we can with what we get. Also, we do have a competitive application process for some of these CDBG funds. They are somewhat limited, but there's an application available. There's still time for folks to apply. The application is due March 1st at 5 p.m. You can either reach out to me for a copy of the application, or there is one on our website under community development at the City of Bristol's website. And I guess that's about it. I don't really want to speak to the city's challenges and successes right
yours.
now.
It's yours.
Like other people have mentioned, the homelessness still seems to be on everybody's mind, and I think we get more comments about that from residents than just about anything else.
Okay, thank you, Ellen, very much. Thanks you and Christina for being such great resources for all of us here, and for helping for our city folks, staff and elected officials to understand things better from y'all's perspective. So Melissa Roberts, Appalachian Promise Alliance.
Yeah, thank you, Margaret. I'm Melissa Roberts with Appalachian Promise Alliance, formerly Bristol's Promise. And for context, our mission is to mobilize the communities we serve to meet the basic needs of children, youth, and families. So a lot of what we do is coalition building and collective impact work, things very much like this. And so one of the things that I wanted to share is Ballad Health is holding this coming Wednesday. So it's a short timeline. It's the Northeast Tennessee Resilience or the Northeast Tennessee Naloxone Distribution Strategy Building Meeting. And so anytime that somebody wants to come together and build a strategy in Northeast Tennessee, we want to let as many people know as possible so that voices can be heard. And we know that substance use disorder is something that we have struggled with in our region for a long time, but we're seeing a rise in that. So I'm going to post the registration link in the chat for anybody who is available. It is in Johnson City. It is in person at the Langston Center. And all of that information is at that Eventbrite link. So, we have lots of stuff going on, lots of exciting stuff in the pipeline, but one of the challenges that we're seeing, and especially as we bring the community together, is just capacity. And I think that that's very much what you all have been talking about. We've seen CARES funding that's ending and ESSER funding that's ending. And we already had people who were at capacity before those expansions. And now that that's going away, we expect to see an increase in frustrations and people having more on their plate and being at or beyond capacity. So that's just kind of what we've been hearing. We hold in trust the Northeast Tennessee Resilience Network, which is formerly the Trauma Informed Care Network, and we work closely with the Southwest Virginia Trauma Informed Care Network to coordinate across those state lines. And that's a lot of what we're hearing is capacity is a huge issue, and the forecast isn't looking great for, supporting people in that.
Thanks, Melissa. So Melissa, you're preparing one sheet of the different organizations, the things we facilitate, and that that resilience network is one of those, and that'll be sent out to everybody before too long. So it's clarified, because we have a lot of different meetings that we do. I have a couple that I do. So trying to help people get straight which meeting they're actually signing up to attend, and picking the ones that best fit the role that you're in as well. So thank you very much for that. So we have two people here besides myself with Family Promise. And Karen, is there anything you want to share? I know you're busy with your daughter, and there was one question I was going to ask. Oh, for the PIT count in 2023, and Karen can correct me if she's able to speak, but I believe at Family Promise, we had about 800 individuals come through our day services, and out of those, probably 780 were unhoused. We occasionally have people, there was somebody there yesterday doing laundry because they were out of money to not be able to afford to do their laundry in their building. So occasionally we have people who are housed. We also house, for some of the folks we have been able to help them achieve housing, come back and do laundry or have lunch, so they get to see their community that they had before they had housing. So Karen hadn't corrected me yet, so somewhere in that vicinity. So that's a far cry from the 85 that we count with the PIT count. So just understanding that huge difference. Cheryl Hanslick is on, and she is a regular volunteer at Family Promise, started a few months ago. She's been volunteering for Salvation Army a long time. Cheryl, would you like to talk about successes and challenges that you see?
Well, I'm totally volunteer, so I can help in any way at no cost for anybody. I'm thanking Margaret for giving me a seat at this table, because for the last 18 months, I have been serving meals, particularly Saturday evenings and sometimes helping Saturday at lunch to the homeless at the Salvation Army. And then in the last few months, I've been helping basically with the cooking and the cleaning when Family Promise of Bristol is there, which is obviously a very important aspect of it. My background is in science and industry, not in social work. And it's a good news, bad news. I need training in social work, but often skills that you acquire in another discipline can cross lines and find fruitful ways to help. So I just want to introduce myself. I've been in Bristol, Virginia for 15 years, since 2015, came down because my daughter's down here, my middle daughter with my two grandchildren. So I'm here to help, but in the next 3 months, I do have to go north for a while for an extended family commitment, and then I'll be back. So thank you for doing the Zooms.
Right. Yep. You can continue to join us, and we greatly appreciate Cheryl, and we have some fabulous volunteers. And we do have a volunteer training program. We need to hone it. We've got a lot of online and videos and reading. We do need to do a little better with getting people together after they've done the training to go over a little bit. But the trauma-informed care and resilience is a big part of that training, and we thank Appalachian Promise Alliance because we stole a lot of it from them for what their training is for their volunteers. We also do background checks of all our volunteers. So my husband has volunteered, he got a background check. Everybody gets it standard so that we don't differentiate. So anyway, thank you very much. So Tony, I think that I have saved the best for last. So go for
Am
it.
I on?
You're on.
Hope I'm not on too much. It's like I've been taking speed. There's so much going on. I've got a March 8th deadline for the implementation phase, which is 10 times greater than the planning phase of veteran support use disorder for Northeast Tennessee. And I'm adding and project, alliance and project now to the end. Because I think what we're talking about here today is fundamental. All these great ideas have to be meshed. So I have like unbelievable number of sticky notes in front of me. And I can't even begin to say how a jack of all trades like myself gets excited about all these things. But it's a matter of passion, folks. And it is truly inspirational to hear what y'all are doing. And for the grant that I want to emphasize education and training. And I want us to be able to leverage off of the success that we had with a meager amount of money, so that over 2 years, $500,000, I can have people on retainer. Melissa's on retainer to work with me with something she's passionate about. It's like overtime. So this is what I'm writing up in my grant, so that people don't feel burdened by the stuff that excites them. They feel empowered by it. And I think Melissa said about building capacity. So I'm supposed to be in Bristol at the Pinnacle for a nice lunch, because I am getting these people on retainer, and they're coming from all over the Tri-Cities. And I want to talk to a woman about storytelling. She's very creative. So while I'm working with veterans and substance use disorder and what's called a work recovery ecosystem, we're going to be building guitars. We're going to be working on holistic things like music is medicine, food is medicine, movement is medicine, and then working with Chelsea and the VA, and working with all of y'all, because as folks have indicated, if you wait too long, it just snowballs. So I looked up the parable, Aesop, the grasshopper and the ant. And I'm going, Tony, you're starting to become an ant instead of just hopping around this grasshopper. So what I want to do is enable people to feel welcome with not only veterans as a topic, but all of our resilience. And that's where some of this could lead. And of course, Margaret, it fits so well with, all the stuff we've done, the All-American region, people, places, play, jobs, and government. Yes, that's aspirational, and we are on track for a lot of the good stuff because we're so good. We're Southern Appalachia, but we've got a long ways to go. I'll just shut up. The challenge I face is that I'm getting a little pushback from the folks in Tennessee saying, what's your economic development plan with all this? Isn't it time for you to write another planning grant? I'm going, no. We're ready for the bigger money. And so I may go to Virginia with the guitars and with the Barter Theater and things like that, and talk about the power grants, which are coal impacted communities, get you into still working with ARC, Appalachian Regional Commission, 423 counties in 13 states that love us down here.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for that uplifting words. So I wanted to say thank you to everybody. I wanted to reflect a little bit of what I'm hearing, particularly as challenges. We like successes and don't look at those as much, but I will talk about what I've heard. Melissa said it well with capacity. I had funding down, but capacity certainly says it. It's funding, and that's funding for staff as well as for our programming. And we know our programming is our staff. So that capacity, collaboration, trying to collaborate with everybody we need to collaborate, and that can be a challenge. Heard that a little bit. Marketing ourselves or our programs, trying to be sure that people know about us. And so much, I'll tell you, at Family Promise, we've been around for however long it's been, almost, it'll be 2 years in July. 3 years in July. I forget. Anyway, we started in July of 22. So it'll be 2 years in July. We still, every week we learn about a new resource, and it's like, why didn't we know about that? And we know a lot and have a lot of resources, but it's interesting. So trying to get your services out there for people to be able to take advantage. Technology, keeping up, moving forward with that. We know it's so critical, but sometimes can be difficult. And I would say the HUD granting agencies and the difficulty, what I talk about is when you work with people who are challenged, it can be challenging to help people. People don't know how to be helped. They still want to be that very much Appalachian independent, et cetera. But so that's frustrating. But add on top of that, the bureaucracy and the structures that are so difficult to work with, to have to wait on the phone for 2 hours for food stamps to come, to receive a letter for one of your clients. It's received the day after their appointment, to wait 114 days for a birth certificate to come from North Carolina. Just all the different things that stand in our way of being efficient with helping people, and how much that really adds to our frustration. I think that was also talked about, that not only, I think it was Christina, not only are we going to see more people being challenged and being frustrated because they need so much help, it also is all of us, each of us, who gets so frustrated because we can't, because there's barriers in the way that we can't get through. And that leads to our wait lists, et cetera. Homelessness, we know, is definitely on the rise. We see it in our communities. We know it's true nationwide. With that, the biggest reason for homelessness is affordable housing. At Family Promise, we are seeing more elderly and people with disabilities who were housed, and the rent's gone up and they can no longer pay the higher rent. Also, just to add, education awareness was mentioned, so helping our communities understand what it means to what it means to live with the challenges of being in poverty and having all the different issues facing you. And that's, Kay, thank you for the poverty simulation. And it really would be good if we worked harder to get more of those out. I know Northeast State did one not too long ago as well, but it's a great experience for people. It is not a brain experience, it's an experiential experience. Go ahead, Kay.
Exactly. And our evaluations from, and this was a staff poverty simulation, we did have some community folks that participated, but not many. But our evaluations from our staffs have been that it's been a very eye-opening event, and that it was a real learning experience to walk in someone else's shoes in that controlled environment for a while. So, you know, all our staffs have had the experience with the exception of Tennessee Middle School. And we hope to be able to pull that off in the next year or so. Right. But each of our staffs, both Title I and non-title, staffs have had the opportunity, and it's been a very moving experience for both groups.
Great. Thank you, Kay, and thank you and Lynn for helping with that. And again, we that's a goal we should have to be looking to see how can we offer that on a regular basis to communities and partner with organizations for their staff, et cetera. So with that, I was going to ask about suggestions for topics because we've been having a program and then having our network, and this was great to have more time for networking this time. But if you have ideas for programming, if you can send those to me, or if you know one right off the top of your head, put it in chat. I'm going to make sure we keep the chat. And next meeting for us will be March 22nd at 11 on Zoom. And then the Bristol Coalition is March 12th at 12 noon to 1:30, and they do hybrid. So you can still join them, but they provide a lunch usually and have in person. So and they usually don't put out the topic till right before. So if you have things you heard today you'd like to learn more about, let me know, and we can line up some different programming. That would be great. And we do try to do Tennessee and Virginia, something that's of interest to both, or we can have panels with a Tennessee rep and a Virginia rep in similar type of programs. So we certainly can do that as well. So with that, if we're okay, anybody else have anything else to add last minute? All right. So with that, I'm going to stop recording, and I'm going to stay in for a minute to get my ducks in a row. So for saving everything before I sign out. So thank you all very much. Have a great weekend. It's supposed to rain a lot here at Salvation Army. They have roof leaks. So always something exciting going on. I'm sure it's that way with each of you all, but hopefully you'll have a good recovery weekend. So take care very much. Bye-bye.